Harris Walls hat. Okay, but just going to try and give an objective numbers breakdown. 66 million people voted for Kamala Harris. 71 million people voted for Donald Trump. That is between Kamala Harris and Joe Biden in 2020. That's a 15 million vote differential. 15 million fewer people voted for Kamala Harris than voted for Joe Biden. So where were they? What did they do? I mean, some of them died, obviously. Some of them just decided not to go and vote. Now, Donald Trump's numbers were 71 million in 2024 and 74 million in 2020. So 3 million of his previous voters didn't show up. You had a total of votes cast in the 2020 election that was somewhere in the range of 168 million votes. 158 million votes. Sorry, I'm doing the math wrong. 81 million for Joe Biden, 74 million for Donald Trump. So that was 155 million people voted in 2020. And the totals between the two of the candidates this year, 66 million and 171 million. That adds up to 137 million. So we're looking at about a 20 million vote differential as far as number of people voting. But then you also have to factor in that a lot of new voters were registered, millions on each side. I don't know the exact number, 3 to 5 million, something like that. Those people probably all, a very high percentage of, voted. So what you have is, you can definitely say, okay, if 20 million, 18 million fewer people voted, or 20 million fewer people voted this year, then you factor in also the new voters and add that in. So that would equate to another 5 million or so that didn't vote. So we're looking at something like 25 million people who voted in 2020 that didn't vote in 2024. So definitely the get out the vote for both sides, it was obviously much worse on the Kamala Harris side. What can you attribute that to? Certainly not effort, I think. But I think that realistically, a lot of people weren't ready to vote for a woman or a woman of color, and they didn't. And they might have felt like, oh, they got it handled. And so they went out and went about their day yesterday, or didn't bother early voting. Or, I mean, come on, with early voting and with mail-in voting and day of voting, you got no excuse to not vote. And sadly, there's a large portion of eligible voters out there who just don't vote anyway. You know, when you look at the total population of the country of about 334 million, and then you do the math yesterday saying that, oh, well, half the people in the country voted, half the population. Realistically, there's children involved in the population number, but there's probably 280 million people, 290, 300 million people that are, eligible voters, and a totality of, what was the number, 37 million voted. So something on the order of half of the eligible voters, people who could potentially vote, voted. And now a lot of people have been saying, well, a majority of the country decided Donald Trump should be president. Well, no, 71 million people decided Donald Trump should be president. And again, when you look at the overall population number of 334 million, 71 million is roughly 20% of that. 70 times 5 is 35. So you're looking at like 71 million people being about 22% of the country. And again, if you want to do the math on the number of, eligible voters, that 71 million people represents what percentage of eligible voters, then you're looking at like 30-ish, 32, 33%, somewhere in that range, 35%. I'm just doing quick math. You can do it yourself. So it's about a third of the country, a third of the eligible voters, 20% of the country that decided Donald Trump should be president. So, and then of course, after all the talk about it going to be a fraudulent election, well, nobody on the Republican side is claiming it's a fraudulent election now. So it's kind of funny that that was all set up and continually talked about. And Trump even yesterday was saying, oh, they're cheating in Pennsylvania. Well, he won Pennsylvania. So now does he contend that they cheated in Pennsylvania? No, of course not. the overall perspective is not enough people got out and voted, and that a campaign of lies and fear mongering is a very effective way to stir up a base of voters and get them out, and that they don't need a lot of fact checking. You tell them enough fear mongering lies that immigrants are coming to steal their pills and take their jobs and live in their homes and take over their towns, then enough people will believe you. And you continually call somebody a Marxist communist when, ask most people to define, well, what is a Marxist? What is a communist? What is a fascist? Most people can't give you a definition for any of those things. So anyway, that's my quick breakdown on the numbers in the election. Yes, I am wearing the Harris Walls hat, and I did vote for Kamala. And I am deeply disappointed in the outcome, and deeply disappointed in the people who didn't show up. So the people who showed up in 2020 and didn't show up this time, that's a group that's to be disappointed in. And even more so are the people who are eligible voters who wander through this country and don't feel it's any obligation of theirs to get out and vote for one side or another. And then we could get into a whole debate on the fact that it's just a two-party system, even though it's not, but it really is. That's a whole other separate discussion. So anyway, just recording my thoughts in a little live stream here, and we'll leave it posted so that people can view it after the fact. I wish everybody their best. Go and try and be your best self today and tomorrow and the next day. Because if you did it today, if you did it yesterday, you can do it today. And if you do it today, you can do it tomorrow. So keep on keeping on. And thanks for joining me. Almost no one out there. Come on, I'm walking my dogs. And I will see you later. Come on, we're going this way. Bye.